Welcome back. Now, on Thursday, that was just yesterday, President Cyril Ramaphosa appointed 10 people to what he called the Presidential State-Owned Enterprises Council. Now, the council is expected to support government in repositioning state-owned enterprises, or SOEs, as effective instruments of economic transformation and development. Ramaphosa will chair the council together with ministers who are responsible for SOEs and eminent South Africans, including Joel Khathuthshelo Netshitenzhe and Monhla Hlahla, as well as Michael Sachs and others as well. To get reaction on this, we are joined via Skype by Absa's Bakang Leswiti, who is the head of state-owned companies at Absa Corporate and Investment Banking. Bakang, thank you so much for the time. A portfolio that has certainly been one that has drained South Africa's fiscus. Does this help getting this council together?
Thank you, Arabile. This is very welcome news. It comes at a time where we've been waiting. If you remember, the president announced the formation of the council quite some time back. And this year, Absa held and hosted a post-budget speech debate and panel discussion in February. So even in that panel discussion, we were asking, when is the SOC Council going to be announced? Because it's much needed. And if you look at what has happened in the past, every time a state-owned company was experiencing challenges of some sort, the minister involved, the shareholder minister involved, would then put together a ministerial task team or an intervention team of some sort. But I think if you have these structures and these committees set up on a temporary basis and then reporting to a minister who also has competing priorities, you must remember the minister is not sitting there and waiting to make a decision on an emergency liquidity facility for an SOC. So that makes it a bit challenging. What we like with the Presidential SOE Council is that it's permanent. And when you look at the composition, who are the members of this council? You see names like Swazi Chabalala, who was part of the, if you recall, some time back, there was another committee set up, a presidential SOC review committee.
Sure.
We did a lot of work and put together a paper with some recommendations. So we like seeing a name like Swazi there because it means there's continuation. It means there will be an interlink of the work that was done back then with what this new council is going to do.
But what
so we're excited, we've been waiting, it means that we welcome.
But what's the difference then between having this entire council and having an actual minister who's responsible for these departments anyway? Is the point that these people are not supposed to answer to government, to the president? Ultimately, the ministers answer to the president, and so too will this council. So what is the actual difference?
No, you're quite right. And what we need to not lose focus
as the citizens, as the stakeholders and interested parties is that the SOCs and the various legislation pieces that were put together to govern them were actually concluded at a certain point in time in a different environment, both from an economic perspective and in terms of the various challenges that are facing the country right now. So there are some aspects of these things that do not work. Let us zoom in, Arabile, into the mandate that has been flagged for this council. You see that they are going to do work on the shareholder ownership model. So the shareholder ownership model and how the various SOCs, executives, and the board report back to the minister, to the shareholder minister. There is clearly something that doesn't work there, Arabile. And don't forget the feedback that we have seen from the previous executives, the previous CEOs, and other executives who have served in the SOC structures. They have, for a long time, given feedback that there is a lot of pain, there is a bit of red tape. If you are in an SOC that is facing liquidity challenges, you need a decision on money, you need a decision on funding right now, and it needs to be urgent.
Yeah.
So the benefit that you see in private entities is that if a decision has to be taken by the executive or by the board, it happens quickly. It enables the various parties to be agile and to implement. That does not happen with government. Where you have a shareholder in the form of government, there's a certain pattern, there's a certain protocol in the way that decision-making and things take place.
Yeah, they certainly do take quite a while with them.
Some of our SOCs.
Yeah, so, I mean, the process, as you say, yes, 100% is quite long. Would you say then, Bakang, that getting a partner for many of our eminent, shall we call it, SOEs is a first prize? Should we be getting strategic partners for the likes of Denel, the likes of a new SAA and SA Express perhaps? You know, all the others, a new strategic partner for Eskom. Is that what perhaps Absa would recommend to this council as well?
So those are some of the ideas that have been flagged, Arabile. And we actually needed a forum, a body like this council, because all of us are giving advice from the sidelines, right? We are kind of like the spectators at a stadium. All of us have got an idea on what the players should be doing or ought to be doing. But none of us are close enough to the situation to be certain that whatever we are recommending and putting across will ultimately work. So I look at the key items that have been flagged as the mandate for the council. And I see them as the bridge, you know, that brings all of these ideas together. They are going to look at the shareholder ownership model. They are going to look at the governance in the SOC. And they are going to look at what needs to be in place in order for the SOCs to implement the developmental mandate that they have.
Bakang, we're going to have
at the top of the list is the question of funding, Arabile. If you have a mandate for an SOC and they need a specific funding from a specific source in order to implement that mandate, a lot of the SOCs are not there yet. They are battling with the operating funding. They are battling, they need emergency liquidity. So we are far from even helping them with implementing the mandate, which is the reason why they exist in the first place. So these are all the things that the council will look at.
Bakang, we certainly hope you form part of this council in many ways in terms of conversations as well as moving it forward. But we thank you very much for your time, and we hopefully can bring you back on as well and have a more lengthy discussion about this SOE council as well. Bakang Leswiti there is from Absa Corporate and Investment Banking, taking care of the SOE portfolio there. We do say goodbye to our SABC3 viewers for now, but we'll be back with more news on our sister channel, SABC News, right after this short break. Stay tuned.